we're going to talk about now is support and resistance lines and how to identify these major trading tools, which they are, because if you can become proficient at technical analysis, it will make you such a better trader. Okay? Here's the most common question that I get. And we're going to do this on AXP, which was our trade of the week. All right. The most common question I get is, how do I come up with the lines for support and resistance? Okay. It's especially important on trade of the week because it's a purely technical trade, which is why I did not get out on that first red bar on that day. Okay. So here's the definition of support and resistance. Support is the price level, area or zone that we expect an increased demand from buyers, thereby gives support to the price level, and prevents the price to move further downwards. Resistance, on the flip side, is the price level where we expect an increased supply from the sellers. That's where they're selling, okay, in order to give resistance to the price level and prevent the price to move further upwards, okay? It's important to note that we are referring to a price level, area, or zone, okay? So the line is a line, but you have to understand it's an area, it's a zone. You see many times, okay? I'm gonna show you on this next slide here. Okay, you see many times that it actually goes above, but it doesn't hold it, okay? See the top two circles? See this one here, okay? See here, broke above, but then started right back down, okay? See here, tried to break above, couldn't do it, resistance. So this line is a good resistance line, okay, on trade of the week. It was a great resistance line. We never got there this week, and we didn't get this one either. We got close, but we didn't get there. Okay, now here's your support levels. Now you see why I have all these levels lined up for support. Okay, we held this one, it held this one, then it held the bottom ones right along here. Okay, now here it broke underneath, but it didn't hold it. You see these three right here? These three right here, they broke, but they were touching every single time. Okay, nothing broke free and clear on the bottom here. So that's a very strong level of support. All right. Then you had some, as you see here, you had sideways movement, basically in a channel. Okay, for the most part, other than this right here. But we were on this line. So we're in this channel, and then boom, you got a breakout to the upside. All right. And then it broke out. And again, see, resistance. Couldn't hold it. Couldn't hold it. Started downwards. And I'm going to show you in a second how you can start to predict the movement based on support and resistance lines and how you can do it yourself. Okay, it's very important. I mean, I'm here to teach you guys and help you and guide you and answer your questions and all that. But when you can do it yourself and you can do it quickly and figure it out relatively quickly, how to do it, it'll make you a much better trader because you'll be able to identify much better. Now, this is a daily chart, okay? This is a daily chart. So the more time frame you take in, like this is daily versus a 5-minute, all right? This is much stronger. Okay, daily chart is where I will usually plot trade of the week. Okay, it's based off of a daily chart. You guys can see why. All right, you had support down here again, and we held support. See how we held support? All right, and then what do we do? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, this week. That's this week right here, uptrend. All right. Inverted hammer, that's what this is right here. That's called an inverted hammer. And then that's usually a reversal signal. Okay, inverted hammers are usually a reversal signal off a downtrend. Now look at this. Downtrend, inverted hammer, held a support line, and up we go. It's really that easy. It really is. A lot of guys like to make it a lot more difficult and use all these different analysis terms, different things, you know, that are out there. Oh, this is the newest one. This is the cool one. No, this is really simple, okay? Candlesticks and support and resistance lines. So simple, so easy. This is how you do it. And this is how I do trade of the week, okay? So here, I'm not going to read all this for you guys. I'm just going to point out a couple of things, all right? In terms of support and resistance, that's what we consider a magic number, where we expect certain things to happen. Like if I say a SPY's coming up down to support, more times than not, it bounces off it. It doesn't break through, okay? If I say it's coming up to resistance, more times the first time it's going to bounce off it and come down before it goes back up and breaks through, okay? Sometimes it just breaks through, and if it has volume behind it, it is a more convincing move, okay? Sometimes the stock is considered expensive at the resistance level and cheap at the support level, okay? It's a buying opportunity or a selling opportunity, depending on, you know, what you're trying to do. You know, you have to remember how the stock acted the last time it was around that level, okay? If you don't think that it's going to go higher, then sell it. If you think it is going to break through, then you keep it. Or you're getting into a trade saying, okay, I think we're going to break through this level, and if we do, and you're correct, you're going to make some money on that, especially if you get volume behind it, okay? Support and resistance is one of the basic concepts in technical analysis, okay? Many traders, investors, they watch the levels of support and resistance and how a stock reacts to them, also known as the self-fulfilling prophecy of technical analysis. It's, you know, if the stock is moving a certain way and it's breaking through a resistance level and it has volume behind it, that's a great thing, okay? Now, if it hits a resistance level and it has volume to the downside, then you know that that's a very strong level, okay? Support is hit after a decline going down. Resistance is going up, okay? Just so you guys understand the terms, okay? Now, understand on this final bullet down here, support and resistance levels are where we expect the price to turn. That doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. It's just not going to happen, okay? It's just like when you get gaps. Usually they fill, sometimes sooner than later, but they don't always fill. Okay, they don't always fill. You have to keep that in mind. All right, it's not a guarantee. It's probable, and we expect it. Okay. So how do you find it? There's two typical ways of identifying support and resistance. Two ways that you can do it. Okay. Horizontally aligned tops and bottoms, and then trend lines, okay? So horizontally aligned tops and bottoms is when a stock forms a top and a bottom. Very simple. It's very simple concept, okay? You're looking at the top part here. Now, I pointed this out before, but I'll do it again. That's why I circled it and I put arrows, okay? Here's your resistance. Here's your top resistance. Now, there's going to be a new resistance right up here, right about, I want to say about 114 on AXP. If this continues upwards, right, and you break through this one and you break through this one, the next one you're going to get, all right, you're going to run up to 114. Remember, what was it? What was it? NTNX? Remember I called that out the other day on Friday? And does anyone remember what I said in my thoughts on what I thought that stock was going to do? Just type it in the room if you remember what I said. The stock, when I called it out, let me see here. I want to say, let's see, hold on one second. I'm going to go back and look at it. In expired trades, I bought the 26, we bought the 26 calls on Friday, right? For this week's expiration. It was 114. I think the stock was trading under 26 on NTNX. Everyone remember that? I think it was at like 25, I don't know, 25.60 on Friday when we hopped into the 26s for this Friday. Now, originally that was going to be a day trade, all right? But this sucker ran up, and my chatter to you, and it hit a high of 28.53, okay? So it hit a high of 28.53, and what I wrote within a couple of minutes was, if this name clears 26, it has no real resistance until back to the 32 area, okay? Now, it was trading at like 25.60, 25.70 when we got it, all right? It ran up $3 after we got into the trade, making everyone well over 100%, okay? To the point that I actually decided to swing it into this week just because the action was so strong, all right? And we broke through 26 was an area of resistance, just like in AXP here, okay? We broke through the flat line right here, okay, on Thursday. We held it right above price target 1, and we continued upward, all right? That's why I swung this into the 102s for this week, all right? So here's your trend line formations. This is the second part of it, okay? So I put trend lines, some of them are longer than others, all right? So here's a trend line starting down here, going up all the way up to here. Then you got a downward one that continued all the way through here. Then you had a short-term one that broke it, right? But if you decided after this gap down here, even though it ran back up, you still made a lower high. See the high? Lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, all the way down to here, okay? So if you wanted to play AXP from back here, let's say you shorted it or got puts back here, all right? You could have rode it all the way down for about a month. You would have rode it from the 115 area all the way down here to the 90 area. You would have done really, really well if you would have done that. Just following a simple trend line, okay? Yeah, it got broken up a little here, but the longer term trend line was still down, okay? Then it broke and we went up. Then you got a little meandering sideways and came down a little bit. That's not really much of a trend there. You could call it a slight downward trend. Not really. You held the support level and broke up, okay? Once it started to break upwards, boom, you broke up strong. Then you got another push downwards on this trend line here. And now currently we're on an upward trend, which is why, again, I didn't decide to just simply sell the call. I rolled it into the 102, okay? Because short term, I'm looking here, which is about 103.50, another dollar up. And then after that, I'm looking at this one, which is like 105.50, 75-ish area. And then if you can break those and continue this uptrend, then you're going to get paid very nicely this week on it, all right? Anybody have any questions? on either of these? Like you guys always ask, how do I come up with this stuff? Technical analysis. This is the time to ask the questions that you may have when it comes to this. Okay? So there's no such thing as a stupid question, so ask it. All right? No, you guys are not going to ask me a question on technical analysis tonight? Really? Come on now. Come on now. Who's going to be the first one? Who's going to be the first one? Come on, Hayes. I know you got a question. Trader. No? None of you guys have a question on technical analysis tonight? All right. All right. So, if you don't have any questions on technical analysis, I am now going to open it up for other questions that you might have that have nothing to do with technical analysis. So any general questions? I know I saw a question earlier in the room about Apple and the stock split. Okay. So I like the stock splits with Apple and Tesla. That's just me. And there's reasons that I like it, other than the reason that, the S&P is a price weighted index. Okay. So for Apple now, they go from, what is it, number one, I think they're number one. They went from number one to like number 17, which is fine. What it also does is it allows all the quote unquote Robinhood traders to get in at a cheaper price. So here's the thing with Tesla. If you owned one share of Tesla, right? Let's say that's all you had in your account and you own one share of Tesla. Now you own, what is it, 5? Right? It's a 5-for-1, right? Yeah, now you own 5, which is great. And Apple, the same thing. Apple is, what's Apple, a 4-for-1? Is it 4-for-1 or 5-for-1? Somebody type it in the room because I can't remember. I can't remember everything. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Robinhood has fractional shares. That's exactly why it's good for the Robinhood trader who buys stock. Maybe he has $500 in his account. He's like, oh, I want to buy Tesla, but I can't. Well, guess what? Now you can. Right? Now you can. So it's a good thing.